Alright, so we're going to go through the vowels just to get a hang of the writing. So for A, we're going to start across with a little line, do a diagonal curve down, and there's this big kind of loopy action that goes on. For E, it's a little bit of a curve with a check at the end. And then I like to think of this part as a comma. Then for U, we've got a not horizontal dash, it's slightly diagonal, and then kind of a half apple shape. E, we've got, again, the little dash up top, and then with one stroke, you're going to go across, down, and give it a tail. For O, across, and then you're going to start at the top, go all the way to the bottom, stop without lifting your pen or pencil, do a loop that stops over here, you don't fully close the loop, and then add a little comma. I'm going to go to the syllables that start with K. So starting with ka, we're going to do kind of a little, I don't even know what to call it, but it's like a curve going to the right, and then you go all the way down to the bottom, do a little check mark, and then this line is down but slightly to diagonal, slightly curved to the left, and then you add a little comma, and make sure it's kind of like, not parallel, but like in the same general direction as like this little part of the ka. Alright, so ki, a diagonal dash, second diagonal dash that should be a bit longer. Then we're going to bisect those two dashes and add a check. And then there's a curved line at the bottom. Ku is generally pretty easy. You've got a diagonal and a diagonal. Ke is a curved line with a check at the bottom, and then a horizontal line, and another curved line, but you let it taper off. You don't give it a check. Ko is a curved line with a check at the top, and then a curved line at the bottom. So now we're on to the characters that start with S. Sa, you've got a horizontal line going across. You're going to dissect or bisect that with a diagonal and then a check, and then a curved line at the bottom. She, it's kind of like an upside down shepherd's staff, or a backwards J, whichever way you want to think of it. Su, you've got a horizontal line, and then this is one stroke. So you start at the top, go down, make a little loop, and then let it taper off at the end. Se, horizontal line, a little dash, and then a curve. So, start with a diagonal dash. Make sure this next line touches the diagonal dash, then goes across, and then makes a little C at the end. So it's only two strokes. 1, 2. All right, and now we're on to the T's. So we're going to start with ta, horizontal line, diagonal slightly curved, and then this is the same as ko. It's a little curve with a check, and then a curve at the bottom. Chi is the next one. Line straight across, and then the second stroke is down to the diagonal, and then making a big curve. Su is just a big curve in general, but just make sure that the starting point and the ending point are at kind of a diagonal line. Then we've got te, again one stroke, I'm going to start by going all the way across, and then sort of double back and make a curve. And then toe, got a little dash, and then a curve. These are pretty tricky, the N characters. So we're going to start with na. 1, 2, 3 is a little dash mark there. And then this is a little loop. So it goes down and around. Ni is that curved line with a check. And then similar to ko, we've got curved line with a check on top and then a curve on the bottom. Nu is kind of my favorite character. It's all the loops. So we start with a diagonal to the right, and it's curved. Then you start up again near the same point, just slightly spaced apart. You're going to curve down, up, down again, and end in another loop. Ne is kind of similar in that it's got an ending loop. So you're going to do a straight line, vertical, and then the second stroke is one big stroke. So you're going to go, without lifting the pen, across, down, back up, around, and loop. And at the end, we've got no. So this is, again, another big loop. Make sure that this part right here, it touches, but they don't, like there's not a cross up here. So there we go. And on to the H characters. So we've got ha, he, hu, he, and ho. So ha, or wa, depending on if it's used as a grammar particle, starts with that curve and check, line across, down and loop. He is kind of a weird one. It's not similar to any other characters. So we're going to do a slight little up curve dash thing. Create a big curve and then another little curved dash at the end. It's one stroke, but it's kind of all over the place. And then hu. There's a few different ways to write this, but the way I was taught is in 3 strokes. So you do kind of what looks like a wonky 3. Start at the top, you got a little curve, a bigger curve. See how it kind of looks like a wonky 3? And then you've got a dash and a dash. And these endings should be like tapered. And then he, which I write a lot, but it's for some reason my least favorite character, is one stroke. So you go up at a diagonal, down at a longer diagonal. And that should be tapered as well. And then ho is again a curve and a check. And then 2 horizontal lines. And then down into a loop. Right, and now we've got the M characters. Ma, mi, mu, me, and mo. So to start with ma, we've got 2 horizontal lines. And then down into a loop. You notice a lot of these techniques are, coming up in many different characters. And now we've got kind of another weird one. 2 strokes. So we're going to start with a little dash to the right, but without picking up your pen, down diagonally into a loop, and then let that loop tail drag out pretty long. And then we've got a little curved line going through that tail. All right, mu, another weird one, but it starts out the same as the character Su. We've got horizontal line, down into a loop, but we're going to taper off to the right and curve up. And then add a little comma there. That was actually too long. Do not make it that long. All right, me is pretty similar to nu, except there's no loop on the end here. So we've got a curve down and around and stop. And then mo, the last one, starts like she. We've got the little upside down shepherd's hook there. And then I was taught to do this with 2 curved dashes. Other people may write it with just 2 straight lines. All right, on to the next one. Okay, and so now we've got the Y characters, ya, you, and yo. So ya starts with this little, I don't even know what to call it, like a slightly out of place J. So we're going to do a slight curve up to the right and then back down. And then we've got a little sort of comma thing going right here. And then a diagonal curved line that ends in a taper. U, 2 strokes, vertical down, don't lift your pen, and do a little curve around. Second stroke is going to go right through that loop you just, or that curve you just made. Yo, it's got a little horizontal line, and then making sure that you meet this point, you're going to do the down into a loop. And now we're on to the R's, da, bi, do, de, and do. Notice I did not say it lolly lulelo or rari rurero. It's like halfway in between, using the tip of the tongue behind your teeth, like on that little ledge behind your teeth. Da, di, do, de, do. All right, so for ra, or da, we're going to do a little diagonal dash. And then this is kind of like a 5 in a way. You're going to go down and then curve. B, it's a little short curve with a check, and then a longer curve with a taper. Do, you're going to start across, down, double back, and do a loop. But that should not have crossed right there. It's just supposed to end when it hits the curve. And de, vertical line, although I suck at making vertical lines. And then you're going to go across, down, double back, and make sort of like an N shape. Do, across, down, double back, and stop. So there's no loop on this one. So hopefully those make a bit more sense now. On to the last 3. Wa, o, or wo, depending on what style you're speaking in, and n. So wa, it's got a vertical line, across, down, double back, into a curve. O, go across, down, and then a sort of like half curve, and then add another curve in there as well. So the 2 curves kind of cross. And then n actually looks like an N, which makes it really easy to remember. And it's 1 stroke, so diagonal down, double back, give it a tail.